Hebrews, Hebrews, Hebrews. This is Prophets of Awakening. This is our men's advanced Bible study, the 6th of December, 2024. Okay, I'm gonna go back and deal with King of the Giants. There's some additional information on that, so I'm gonna plug that into our topic for discussion tonight. Okay, you can go to our YouTube channel, the Prophets of Awakening, and check out our videos. We have over 1,000 or so videos that you can look at, examine the content. Videos will lead you into the truth of the Holy Scriptures, connect dots for you, and if you like what you're hearing and receiving, I'm asking you to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. It would be greatly appreciated, okay? We have our Cash App at the bottom of the screen in case you want to support the channel. You have to move along. That too would be greatly appreciated. Okay, the hours of operation are Tuesday and Wednesdays. We on from 7 to 9. Then Sabbath class, Friday nights, well, we're going to be returning our men's Bible class back to the Prophets of Awakening. That's on 7 to 9 on Friday nights. And then we have our Sabbath class, which is on every Saturday. We have 2 classes, one in the morning, 10 to 12 a.m., and then we close out the Shabbat in the evening from 6 to 7. Then we have a Sunday class where we just kind of dialogue and connect dots. That's every Sunday at 5 p.m. Central Time. It's Sunday at Advanced Bible Study. Those are times that we are live. Okay, so with that being said, this is a non-Messianic channel, and by that I mean we deal with the Tanakh and the Torah. Tanakh being the Old Testament, so-called Book of Remembrance, and the Torah is the 35 books of the Old Testament that were given to Moses by the Lord of Hosts, our Redeemer. Shalom and welcome to the channel, and welcome to our men's advanced Bible study. Okay, we're going to do our normal, which is a moment of silence, Sabbath prayer, Psalms, okay, current events. Then we have some need to know information. Then we open it up for some Q&A and dialogue. And then we go into our topic. As I mentioned earlier, we'll be dealing with Og, King of the Giants, King of the Red, right? So with that being said, moment of silence is for the Lord of Hosts, and all that He's doing is bring about our prophesied deliverance in these last days. Okay? Oh Lord, we come before Thee at this hour and at this time on your Sabbath, thanking Thee and praising Thee for your strength and for Thy love and Thy great power. Oh Lord, we come before Thee with praise because we understand now who You are, and we appreciate You. We appreciate Your patience and understanding, and we understand Your position in heaven and on the earth. Therefore, we come this day seeking love, wisdom, patience, and understanding. Peace be unto You, O Lord. Okay, so with that being said, I'm going to read the Psalms. Okay. I'll read Psalms 80. It's a prayer for restoration. It's a psalm of Asaph. Give ear, O shepherds of Israel, thou that leadest Joseph like a flock, thou that dwellest between the cherubim, shine forth. Before Ephraim and Benjamin and Manasseh, stir up thy strength, and come and save us. Turn us again, O God, and cause thy face to shine, and we shall be saved. O Lord God of hosts, how long wilt thou be angry against the prayers of thy people? Thou feedest them with the bread of tears, and givest them tears to drink in great measure. Thou makest us to strive unto our neighbors, and our enemies laugh among themselves. Okay? Turn us again, O God of hosts, and cause thy face to shine, and we shall be saved. Okay? is, thou hast brought us a vine out of Egypt, and thou hast cast out the heathen and planted it. Thou prepared room before it, and did it cast, cause it to take deep root and fill the land. The hills were covered with thy shadow of it, and the boughs thereof were like the goodly cedars. She sent out her boughs unto the sea, and her branches unto the river. Why hast thou then broken down her hedges, so that all they which pass by the way do pluck her? The boar out of the woods doeth waste it, and the wild beast of the field doeth devour it. Return, we beseech thee, O God of hosts. Look down from heaven, and behold, and visit this vine, the vineyard which thy right hand hath planted, and the branch that thou madest strong for thyself. It is burned with fire, it is cut down. They perish at thy rebuke of thy countenance, and let thy hand be upon the man of thy right hand, unto the Son of Man, whom thou madest strong for thyself. So, so will not we go back from thee. Quicken us, and we will call upon thy name. Turn us again, O Lord God of hosts, and cause thy face to shine, and we shall be saved. So this was a psalm of Asaph. When you understand who Asaph is, that's during the time of David. That was one of David's chief musicians in the temple. They were all musicians. Even though David was a king, David was a musician also. Okay, that was his first love. If you go back to when he was a boy out in the field keeping the shepherds, he was always singing, playing instruments. He made the lyre and all that, and singing to the Lord host. So he was a musician as well as he was as well as the king. Okay. So with that being said, anybody have any questions or comments on that?
Shalom, yes, sir. Brother Leonard, when you say David was a musician and you say uh he sang songs to the Lord of hosts, you know, he wasn't singing for money, right?
No, 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 no. He just that was just the spirit that was in him. He continuously from time he was born until he died, he worshiped the Lord of hosts. That's the reason why when you read the story and when he came across when he came to give his Jesse, I gave him some food to go give his brothers that was on the front line when they fighting the Philistines. And David came to give his brothers some food and saw how all the people was afraid of Goliath, and he couldn't believe it because he knew it had been told to him all the things that the Lord had did for Israel and Egypt and all that, and he couldn't believe that they was afraid of Goliath. That's why he did what he did. So it was that spirit that was in him, constantly wanted to recognize the Lord host.
Yes, sir. Thank you. I just wanted you to put your wisdom on that because I know people think that we have these gifts to sing and make money, you know,
Right,
about vain things. So, yeah, yes, sir.
right, right. Yeah, he gave us those gifts to worship him in the temple, even before they got the temple. But it really came into effect whenever they got the temple because when you start looking at those, the Levites and they divisions of the Levites, how they, you know, all of them had different talents that they did.
Right,
But the
yes,
gift,
sir.
And they also said that from what AJ's saying is like the music was they say growing up the music was the devil's music. The devil had the complexion and the voice and everything, you know?
Yes,
And
sir.
that's why Hollywood is the way it is. That's why the rap game and all the music industry is the way it is. I see what you're saying, AJ. Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir. Mm-hmm.
okay, yeah. So let me go deal with this right quick. So we'll move forward. So it says, yes, I have a question. This is probably totally off the message that you're speaking about tonight, but I have a question about Japhet not being Noah's son. Okay, yeah, Japhet is not Noah's son. If you go to Cain's lineage, you can see in the beginning, when the serpent came in the garden, his whole purpose and reason him that he came in the garden was he cohabitated with Eve and got Cain. And if you go to Genesis chapter 4 and verse 16, you'll see it starts out, it says, Genesis 4:16, and Cain went out from the presence of the Lord, they dwelt in the land of Nod, east of Eden. And Cain knew his wife. She conceived and bore Enoch. So this is not the same Enoch out of Adam's lineage. Adam ain't none of Cain's son. But we keep going. And it says, Cain knew his wife. She conceived and bore Enoch. He built a city and called the name of the city after the name of his son, Enoch. Right? This kind of tie into our story tonight about all. Right? 18. Unto Enoch was born Irad, and Irad begot Methuselah. Methuselah begot Methusael. So that's another Methuselah right there. It's not the same one in Adam's lineage. It's another by Cain's lineage. And Methuselah begot Lamech. So that's not the same Lamech that's Noah's father. This Cain's lineage right here. And you keep going and it says, Lamech took unto him 2 wives. The name of one was Ada, the name of the other was Zillah. Ada bore Jubal. He was the father of such dwell in tents and such as have cattle. And his brother name was Jubal. He was the father of all as such as handled the harp and the organ. And 22, Zillah, she also bore Tubal-Cain, right? Tubal-Cain. That word Tubal, when you go into the breakdown on it, means out of the lineage of. Out of the lineage of Cain. That's what Tubal-Cain means. Tubal means out of the lineage of Cain. And instructor of every artificial brass and iron. And the sister of Tubal-Cain was Naamah. So you say, what you talking about? Well, when you go to Genesis chapter 10, which is what you mentioned, so you go to Genesis chapter 10, and you'll see that Noah got a son. Japhet got a son called Tubal. Chapter 10, verse 1. These are the generations of the sons of Noah: Shem, Ham, and Japhet, and under them were born after the flood. Verse 2. The sons of Japhet: Gomer, Magog, Midian, Javan, Tubal. See that? What do Tubal mean? Out of the lineage of Cain. That's who the Gentiles are. So you say, what you talking about? Well, he told Noah, get the male and the female from all flesh and bring them on the ark. Noah got Cain got a lineage over here in Genesis chapter 4. I just read it. Then you go to Genesis chapter 5, you see Adam's lineage. Cain not in it. It says, chapter 5, these are the books of the generation of Adam in the day that God created man in his likeness. God made he him. Male and female created he them, blessed them, and called their names Adam in the day when he had created them. Then verse 3, and Adam lived 130 years. This is the man Adam. And Adam lived 130 years and he begot a son in his own likeness after his image, and he called his name Seth. So we see right here, starting with Abel, then Seth. Cain in his lineage. Cain alive, but he's not in Adam's lineage because Adam ain't his father. That's why he's not listed. He got Cain's lineage listed over there in chapter 4. He's not in Adam's lineage, so this is who the Gentiles are. Japhet. Okay. So with that being said, move on. Okay, it says, my question here is, a lot of Hebrews saying that the Gentiles are going to accompany us when we return back to the promised land. I don't believe this to be true. I want to see. Yeah, it's not true. But from what I just told you, it's not true. Go to the book of Jubilees and expound on it. Chapter 26. Says, if this is true, we're not going to scriptures. My question again is, Gentiles accompany us? No. Okay, so we're gonna move on. Yeah. So with that being said, we'll go to our current events, right? Anybody have any comments on that? Okay.
Hey, Mr.
For many
Leonard,
years, the dollar has maintained a dominant role.
Okay.
I just wanted to say for a lot of people, when they dealing with Genesis and they want to talk about the bloodlines, it's hard for a lot of people to understand that Noah brought two of all flesh. They just think animals and his lineage.
Right. Genitalia.
That's what makes it hard. Yes, sir. That's what
It's
makes it
human.
hard for people to understand who made it to the other side.
Exactly. Right. But when once it's broken down and showed to you, means it's on them after that because it's right there in your face. It's, who would name their son out of Cain, out of Adam's lineage? Who would name their son Tubal? When you know what your son, when you know what Tubal means, the definition of Tubal.
Exactly. Exactly.
And then just for GP to expound on that, the same people that I'm showing you in Genesis chapter 10, verses 1 through 5, they over in Ezekiel 38. He says the same people that he said he against. He got a problem with them. You got to ask yourself, how is this so-called loving God that they done created in the New Testament? How is he saying that he against the people? Japhet. How is he against? I mean, how is he against Japhet children when they come from Noah? He against them because they ain't none of Noah's sons. They Cain's descendants. Okay, yeah. So anyway,
Yes, sir.
let me play this.
In international commerce, acting as the primary reserve currency worldwide. This supremacy has granted the United States considerable economic benefits, such as the capacity to borrow more cheaply and effectively enforce financial sanctions. Nevertheless, recent times have witnessed an increased effort by countries, especially those within the BRICS group, to create alternative payment systems and lessen their dependence on the dollar. Russia, for example, has been a strong proponent of a BRICS payment mechanism aimed at enabling trade using local currencies and circumventing the dollar-centric financial framework. Trump's cautionary message can be seen as an indication of the United States recognizing the rising momentum behind efforts to move away from the dollar. It highlights concerns that a major departure from the dollar could weaken its international position and consequently destabilize the United States economy. Should key economies successfully switch to other currencies or establish a credible rival to the dollar, the United States might encounter issues like decreased demand for Treasury securities, increased borrowing costs, and reduced geopolitical influence. If the move away from the dollar gains speed, it could indicate a major transformation in the global financial environment, weakening the United States' capacity to exert economic influence. This development would have significant consequences for global trade, finance, and international relations, making it a vital topic for policymakers to consider. In this video, we will delve into today's news, focusing on Trump's admonition to the BRICS nations. We will also investigate the extent and objectives of the BRICS countries and their attempts to reduce their reliance on the United States dollar. Let's start by examining the current extent of de-dollarization. BRICS nations have progressively shifted towards conducting trade in their own local currencies to decrease their dependence on the United States dollar. This approach, aimed at increasing financial independence, is driven by both geopolitical and economic reasons. In a significant development in early 2023, China.
Okay.
The two largest economies within the BRICS alliance signed a pact to conduct trade transactions using their native currencies, the Chinese yuan and the Brazilian real. This agreement removes the necessity for the United States dollar as an intermediary, streamlining trade processes and minimizing exchange rate risks for businesses in both nations. Reports indicate that the bilateral trade between China and Brazil reached around.
So if you're paying attention, you can see right here, this they went for the jugular vein right here on the U.S. because they were setting this up the whole time. Now all the fruit and vegetables and all the produce that China been getting from America, all of a sudden they didn't cut it off. We talked about that during the week, and now they're getting it all from Brazil. So just out the blue, boom, they cut all that off. It's over, I think, over $200 billion worth of produce and that they were getting from America. They didn't cut it off, so they're going for the jugular vein.
$150 billion in 2022, with China being Brazil's top trading partner. This move to local currencies is anticipated to further enhance trade by reducing transaction expenses and promoting financial self-sufficiency. Iran and Russia have made considerable progress in integrating their banking systems to support bilateral trade and financial transactions while avoiding Western sanctions. This partnership includes linking their national payment networks and mutually accepting bank cards, thereby strengthening economic cooperation between the two countries. In early 2023, Iran and Russia connected their banking infrastructures, enabling Iranian financial institutions to interact with Russian banks and over 100 banks from 13 additional countries through Russia's system for transfer of financial messages, an alternative to the SWIFT network. This linkage allows the issuance of letters of credit transfers and guarantees without depending on SWIFT, thereby lessening the impact of Western financial sanctions. On July 6, 2024, the Central Bank of Iran announced the integration of Iran's Shetab interbank network with Russia's Mir payment system. This advancement permits the use of Russian Mir cards within Iran, facilitating transactions for Russian tourists and businesses operating in the country. The initiative aims to reduce reliance on Western financial systems and encourage bilateral economic activities. By November 2024, Iran and Russia had further progressed their financial integration by allowing Iranian bank cards to be used in Russia. This development enables Iranian citizens to make transactions and withdraw cash in Russia using their domestic bank cards, thereby improving financial access for Iranians abroad and strengthening economic ties between the two nations. India and Russia have also adopted local currency trade, especially in the energy sector. Following Western sanctions on Russia in 2022, the two countries increased the use of the Indian rupee and Russian ruble for transactions. Russia became India's largest crude oil supplier in 2023, with a substantial portion of these transactions conducted in Indian rupees. This shift allowed both nations to bypass dollar-based payment systems, protecting them from...
So we just saw that China, all these are BRIC countries, these 5 BRIC countries, right? The nucleus. So we just saw China and Brazil working together. They trying to cut the head of the snake off. Now we see right here India and Russia. So they're trying to cut the head of the snake off.
External economic pressures. South Africa, the smallest economy within BRICS, has also expressed interest in increasing trade settlements in yuan. China is South Africa's largest trading partner, with bilateral trade exceeding $50 billion annually. In 2023, South Africa entered agreements to use yuan for various imports, particularly machinery and electronics, thereby decreasing its dependence on dollars and enhancing yuan liquidity in African markets. BRICS pay.
Now, with that being said, I'm going somewhere with this. So I keep reading. I'm gonna read it again in a minute, but I keep reading Isaiah chapter 60. Right, we see that the first part of that chapter 60 says, "Arise and shine, for thy light is come." And being that we know, Lord of hosts illuminates us to a point that we know who the Israelites are, right? And we know where they're at. And we know that Negro land is predominantly 10 tribes there. And we see what's happening over, they're calling it the Sahel, but we know it's up Negro land. We know those Israelites. We see that verse in particular, the first one, arise and shine, for that light has come, right? The Lord is risen upon thee. But I want to read another one for this next video. This just happened. Okay. I'm in Isaiah. It says, Isaiah chapter 60 says, and we hear this over here by these boule Negroes about we can't get along. We gotta come with Pan-Africanism. We gotta come together and free ourselves and all that. But that's not what our Redeemer told us. Right? We didn't free ourselves from Egypt, and we didn't free ourselves from Babylon. The Lord of hosts did. So it says in Isaiah chapter 60, this future glory of Zion. It's a prophecy for the end times, right? It says, arise, shine, for thy light is come, and the glory of the Lord is risen upon thee. For behold, darkness shall cover the whole earth. And we see now there's a hell of a lot of Israelites still in the dark. For behold, darkness cover the whole earth, gross darkness to people, but the Lord shall arise upon thee, and his glory shall be seen upon thee. It's the remnant. And the Gentiles, we just broke down who the Gentiles was. The Gentiles shall come to thy light. The kings to the brightness of thy rising. Now here we go, right here. This is what I want to show you. Verse 4. Lift up thine eyes round about and see. All they that gather themselves together, they shall come to thee. Thy son shall come from afar, and thy daughter shall be nursed upon thy side. So keep in mind right here. Thy son shall come from afar. Then verse 5. After this happened, after you see the Lord that's risen upon us, verse 5, then thou shalt see and flow together. See that? After this, we start flowing together, not on our own strength, on the Lord of hosts, our Redeemer and our Savior. Then thou shalt see and flow together, and thine heart shall fear, be enlarged, because the abundance of the sea shall be converted unto thee. The forces of the Gentiles shall come unto thee. So we see that happening, right? But I want to show it to you right here. This is unheard of, based on the last 2,000 years in the history of Africa. Check it out. Here we go. So remember,
if you all
remember that Putin is Putin understand that he told us that Hitler knew who the Jews were. They was in America. America had the Jews, had God's jewelry over here, so they know that. So if Putin know it, all 5 of those big countries know that, right? And we see that they're showing them favoritism. So check this out.
South African President Cyril Ramaphosa welcomes Nigeria with open hands.
So this is Congo and Nigeria. They've been at each other's throat for 2,000 years. They never could get along. Check it out.
Fellas, this is going to be quite hot. In Zimbabwe, you cannot have an abo, you know what I'm saying? If you do kloof without using a, now there's a law on how you should do kloof in Zimbabwe. You need to watch this. Namibia elected its first female president. She looks decent, but many people don't.
I told you the Nigerians are evil.
Out about her. We're going to find out about that. Fellas, Cyril Ramaphosa has opened the door, a door that many people won't close. That is a door of allowing Nigerians into South Africa. So Cyril Ramaphosa, South African president, met with Tinubu, who is Nigerian president, in South Africa. In the meeting, he very clearly said that he was offering an opportunity for Nigerians to apply for visa in the South African embassy without submitting their passport.
Tourists from Nigeria are now able to apply for a visa without even submitting a passport.
So Nigerians can...
So millions, the title of this video, millions of Nigerians on their way to South Africa. I told you that was number of sign when the Mexicans started coming over here, all the Ukrainians and all that, all those migrations started. That was just a sign that we was gonna start getting on the move.
Now apply for visa.
That's crazy, Mr. Leonard. Hey, Mr. Leonard.
Okay.
That's crazy because South Africa is predominantly white.
Okay.
It's a lot of white people in South Africa.
Yeah, you remember they kicked them out.
Oh yeah, okay. They did kick them out. Yeah, but it was a lot of them because I had buddies down there a couple of years ago.
Right.
Yep. And now they're migrating back home, like you said.
Right. Nigerians and South Africans. They each other throat. Just like when you understand who the Nigerians are, that's Ephraim. We saw what they done in Egypt. They left before the prophecy of Abraham was over with. Got caught up. So
yes,
anyway,
sir.
so that's why, and then they got a problem with us over here, Judah. There's a rift between the Nigerian and the African American. So anyway,
Yeah.
look what happened.
So Nigerians will receive 5 years multiple entry visas.
Our efforts to create a favorable environment includes our simplified visa process for Nigerian business to travel to South Africa. Qualifying Nigerian business people can be granted a 5-year multiple entry visa.
This is shocking to many people, many South Africans. Why? If you don't know, then you should know. South Africa and Nigeria have a very bumpy relationship. Many South Africans do not like Nigerians in the country. The Nigerian in return, they send them back to token. So it's very, very vicious. So many South Africans are very unhappy about Cyril Ramaphosa and what he did because we don't want Nigerians. Why do we give them visas? We don't want Nigerians. Why do they have to apply without bringing their passports? This is what the president said very clearly. As part of the work on the way to modernize, streamline visa application processes worldwide, South African mission in Nigeria has improved the efficiency and convenience of applying for a visa. Now, prospective travelers can apply for their visa without submitting their passport along with their application. At the time of the application, they are only required to submit certified copies of the bio page of their passport, and their actual passport should also be availed during the application process.
So you see what's happening, right? You got to know these people. We just read when I was breaking down who Gentiles was. The scriptures tell us that they the ones that started making the weapons, like fashioning the artificial iron and brass. They was making weapons, so they warlike people. So you think they can take this land down? They ain't gonna take it laying down. They didn't already try to kill
sir.
Torah. They try to kill
No,
Torah
sir.
20 times already. They trying to kill him. Don't think they have a plan to try to subvert this. Is which bring this into play. The guy from Nigeria, the president of Nigeria, I got a golden nugget on that. And so they trying out their best, right? Thinking that it's business as usual, not understanding that prophecy is being fulfilled. And they can't kill Torah. They're trying everything under the sun. They're trying to plot up all kind of ways to kill him. Like I said, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, he'd been dead. But they can't kill him for some reason, right? So anyway, now they got this thing right here with BRICS and South Africa coming together. They bring them over there. But I'm gonna play this first. Then I'm gonna show you what's going on with the president of Nigeria, right? Let me play this first. This tied to the prophecy in Isaiah 62 right here, but I'm gonna play some need to know information. Okay.
What?
Okay.
A website, www. And I'm gonna send you the Moo tutorial videos. Black men and women are leaving America, and here's why. Let me read you a little bit of this article. Why Black people want to leave the U.S. And this is by an author by the name of Zalisa Z. Clark. Here's what she had to say, just a piece of it.
Okay.
I'm just going to say it. Things happening in this country make it hard to want to be here right now. And it's ironic because millions of people have migrated to the United States for generations in order to be part of the American dream. My parents among them. Education, jobs, civil liberties. Folks have risked their lives for this. Yet today, I'm hearing more conversations, especially among people of color, wondering if we want to stay or is it time to bounce?
Time for what?
Now, I'm going to give you 4 reasons why Black men and women are leaving America. And then I'm going to give you my opinion on what's going on. First reason, political concerns. Now, we've just had an election where President Trump has been reelected, and that's causing a lot of political concern for Black Americans. And here's what the concern is. Policies that will be made or being talked about will adversely affect Black Americans more than they will other groups of Americans. Number two, concern or reason, financial climate. Here's what I mean. When you look at the studies of income in America, Black Americans are at the bottom of the income totem pole. Other groups of people are being compensated better. Black folks feel like that's a concern because inflation doesn't discriminate. Inflation is inflation. So the price of our goods and services, whether you're one group of people or another group of people, inflation is the same. But see, if other groups of people are getting paid more, salary-wise, they can afford the increase in those costs of goods and services more than Black Americans because they're being paid less. And again, guys, these are things you could go out on the internet and research yourself. Just go research salaries for groups of people. And you'll see Black Americans are pretty much at the bottom when it comes to salary. They're pretty much at the bottom as well when it comes to net worth in this country. We're pretty much at the bottom of the net worth totem pole. So valid concern? Yeah, that's a valid concern. Third reason is just overall mental health, given the fact that the political environment, the financial environment adds a lot of stress on your mental. And that's a concern. So some Black folks, men and women, are thinking, hey, let me get out of this country, go somewhere where I can have a better mental health, better quality of life. That's a concern, especially with everything that's going on in this country, right? Fourth reason Black men and women are leaving America is racism. And I know that's a hot topic. So I'm not an expert at that, but I am an expert at being a Black man in America for 56 years. That I am an expert at. And I can tell you my own experience. I can't speak for nobody else. In my own experience, have I seen racism up close? And I got to tell you guys, I've seen racism up close, but not to the point where it has put me in a position where I'm in fear of my life. Now, I'm not speaking for the rest of Black people in America. I'm just telling you for me, in 56 years as a Black man in America, that there's not been one time that I've feared for my life because of some other group of people coming after me. I have, but that doesn't mean other people haven't. So is that a valid reason to want to leave? I think it is a valid reason based on who it is. For me personally, it would be a valid reason because I don't fear for my life, but I can't speak for other Black men and women. So those are your four reasons why Black men and women want to leave America. Now, let me give you my 2 cents. Again, 56 years old, lived in America all my life. And of course, I'm a Black man. I'm an African-American man. Let me talk about the political climate real quick. The political climate in this country is intense, but I think it could be intense anywhere you go in the world, right? You go to Russia, you go to Europe, you go to the African continent, you go wherever you go, guys. In my opinion, you're going to have a political climate that could be touch and go. Now, there are some countries that these folks who want to leave, the Black men and women who are leaving, some countries that they name that they're going to are Portugal, Spain, France, and of course the African continent. You have various countries in the African continent. Is there political unrest? Is there political concern in those countries as well? I'm sure it is. But again, it's in the eye of the beholder, right? Let's move on to the financial climate in this country. For me, I believe America is the greatest country in the world of ill wealth. That's what I believe. I'm 56 years old. I participated in this free market for all my adult life, and I built a lot of wealth, and each other build wealth through golden nuggets, tips, best practices, coin, button, or the.
Okay, any comments on that? What you think?
I hear him. I understand what he's saying. When I heard him speaking, especially on that last, that was number 3 or what I think it was number 3 or whatever. But when I hear him say that, and I had something to say about number 2, but I forgot what it was. But number 3, all I could think of, endure, right? He
Right.
told us you got to endure to the end. I put you in these places. You got to take it. I get it. Now, we still the N-word all over the globe. We still hate it all over the globe. So it don't matter where you go, until you being delivered is when you're going to be okay. You know, that's how I look at it. You're going to be hated all over the planet.
Okay.
Especially you don't know about these other countries. Go to Africa and thinking it's a better life. You know, you might live in a better neighborhood, but what about the street prices of buying food and groceries? They looking at you like they call us Goyim or Swatsters or whatever throughout the world. You know,
Right, exactly. Right.
I'd rather struggle where I'm at than to struggle for something new.
Exactly. Is there something? Anybody else?
Shalom. And just to add to that, Brother Leonard, because I myself was even about to jump the gun on trying to move to Ghana and stuff like that. Like, you know, back when you started the class, and you know,
Right.
since then, you know, I was studying a lot of people on YouTube, right? You know, people that got you know, channels about moving to, you know, different countries over there, and I seen so many of them come back, or
Right.
you know, come. Some of them have came back a few times. I've seen some of them leave their family in Africa and come back over here and work and all kind of stuff. And so, uh, so just what OG Kells was saying, like, yeah, you got to endure, and it's not over yet.
Right.
It's not over yet. You know, he's turning over the powers, but it's not over yet. We still in it.
Right. Like I said, they keep hollering the 400 years, the curses is up. We know that ain't true because we still in the curses. Curses ain't
Right.
over with. You know what I'm saying? We still looking at the same. So the time is not, time ain't right. When time comes, it's like he said, it's endurance, long suffering, waiting on the Lord always. When the time comes, you're gonna know it. Right. So yeah, you're right.
All praise,
Right.
brothers.
Exactly. So it's all about long suffering, waiting, holding out. Yeah. Come to find out, man is an agent. And back to the phenotypes, he an agent. The guy in Ghana, right?
Right. The
And the
I
president. Yes, sir.
yeah,
I ain't even get a
he tried.
chance to look at him. I
Yeah,
haven't seen him yet.
the dome. You got that long head in the back, like Akhenaten. But anyway, 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 he came. He tried to come up against what really still a deal for me. He tried to come up against Tory. But then
Right.
he saw the reaction. He saw the reaction of the populace. Then he backed off. But he actually tried to sabotage what Tory was doing. And then you got to know that the West sent him to do it. See what I'm saying? It didn't work. So
They
like I was
didn't.
saying,
That's the Edomites. And Mr. Leonard, did you hear that Biden's supposed to, I'm not sure about this. I gotta double check it, but Biden's supposed to have sent $1 billion to South Africa. Did you hear
yeah,
about that?
I heard it. I
Okay.
heard, yeah, so yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's something to that though, but like I was saying
Yeah.
before, when you go back and do the research, you see that a lot of people ain't familiar with it, but I keep trying to scream it every chance I get. That,
Resorting back to the Gentiles, they giving it all back up.
right. Yeah. I was talking about W. Du Bois. You know who that is, right?
That
Yeah, he was the
that came
sellout.
up
He
against
was the
Garvey.
sellout. He was the one that went against Marcus Garvey. He was the sellout.
Yeah, right.
Oh, good hair.
But you let the Boule tell it. He's an American hero.
Yes,
They
sir.
got a big old shrine over there in Ghana with him on it. Over in Ghana. But he's the one that went. He's the one that sabotaged. They used him to sabotage Marcus Garvey, right? So here we go. I was talking about earlier how we know they trying to knock Tory off, but now they're using South Africa to merge with the Nigerians to get them, visa cards and all that to get Nigeria, because the biggest economy in Africa is Nigeria. So that's what BRICS is targeting, Nigeria. But they got that president of Nigeria, right? So here we go, right here. Let's check this out. I'll play that first, then I'll play the other video. Then we go into the lesson. So here we go. I don't see it. Let's see what it says right here. I'm gonna play this first and try to find this other video while it's playing. Okay.
Rebels, armed to the teeth, were fighting for months to free a president from captivity.
So they tried to
And
kill
then,
the other
without
guy in
warning,
Niger too.
they surrender.
This just happened.
What the hell just happened? Is it the end of the rebellion, or are we missing something bigger here? This isn't just a surrender. It's the kind of move that could change everything in Niger. Here's a question you might not expect. What if this surrender is the first big sign that the West's hold on Africa is slipping? Yeah, we said it. This is no ordinary story about rebels putting down their weapons. There's more at stake here than a bunch of insurgents deciding to quit. This is about power, geopolitics, and the quiet reshaping of the Sahel region. And it's going to blow your mind. Let's get started. In August 2023, Niger, a country in West Africa, was thrust into political upheaval. But this wasn't an ordinary crisis. It was a much-needed shift towards stability. President Mohamed Bazoum, who had taken office in April 2021, was ousted by a group of military leaders who were fed up with his inability to address Niger's growing instability. Bazoum's government, despite its promises of democracy and reform, had failed to deliver on key issues like economic development, security, and fighting corruption. The people's trust in Bazoum was waning, and the situation in Niger was growing increasingly untenable. The military, stepping in as a voice for the people, decided to take action. Bazoum's video and subscribe to our channel to watch more videos on Black culture, history, civilization, and identity. Let's continue now. When the Patriotic Liberation PL decided to surrender, it wasn't just a symbolic gesture. It was a game changer for the future of Niger and the military junta that took power. This act of surrender carried immense significance, not just for the rebels, but for the broader political landscape in Niger. The junta's control over the country is now more solidified than ever before, and the consequences of this surrender will ripple through the country and beyond, shaping the path forward. For one, the loss of a major opposition group like the FPL, means that the junta now faces far fewer organized threats. The FPL, which had been one of the most prominent rebel factions challenging the junta's power, represented the last vestiges of a resistance movement hoping to bring back the ousted President Bazoum. The military now has a clear path to implement their reforms without significant resistance. Render. One of the key factors might just be the realization that Russia's influence was growing and they were losing their Western backing. While the junta has made a strong move towards Russian support, the FPL, on the other hand, was still tied to the Western Bloc, fighting for a government that was increasingly isolated and disconnected from the realities on the ground. This isn't just a local rebellion, it's a proxy battle in a broader geopolitical conflict. The FPL's surrender can be seen as a recognition that their original cause, supported by Western powers, had become untenable.
Right. So they was using these militia groups to try to kill the guy that's in Niger. It just happened, but it didn't work. They eventually had to surrender. Let me find this video. I think I misplaced it because it's important. Let me get it right quick. Okay.
Did you know Thomas?
Here you go. This Esau at his finest right here.
Yeah, the giant of Africa might be a secret asset of the CIA. A president of Nigeria, the giant of Africa, might be a secret asset of the CIA.
Yeah.
According to official reports from US intelligence agencies, Bola Tinubu, the very person Nigerians trust to lead them, might be playing a very different game. And it's not just a theory. These agencies, including the CIA, FBI, and DEA, have allegedly confirmed it. So, what does this all mean? Let's find out. US intelligence agencies have outright said that President Bola Tinubu is an active asset. An asset, meaning that this guy who's supposed to be running Nigeria is allegedly serving a much bigger purpose, one that aligns with US interests. The CIA, FBI, and DEA, yeah, they all know about it. They've said it out loud. Let that sink in. These aren't just small run-of-the-mill agencies. They're the agencies that shape global policy and have the power to pull strings at the highest levels. The CIA alone has a history of involvement in covert operations that span across decades, from overthrowing governments to influencing elections. These are the same agencies that, when they claim someone is an asset, it means that person is playing a role much more significant than just being a public figure. They're integral to a larger strategy. Now, here's where it gets interesting and a little fishy. US agencies didn't just throw out this claim and walk away like it's no big deal. No, they fought tooth and nail to keep the details locked up. Why? Because releasing full information about Tinubu's alleged CIA ties could apparently jeopardize national security. Yeah, okay, that's the usual excuse for hiding something dirty under the rug. But here's the thing. National security? For whom? The US government has long justified its actions abroad by using the phrase national security to cover up a multitude of covert operations. Look at Latin America in the 20th century, where the US orchestrated regime.
So I'm showing you this for a reason. Keep your eyes on him. So this guy, so why would they come out and blow, and all these agencies blow the whistle on this dude and say he's a man behind the scenes? You know what I'm saying? Let that front mate, because they trying to. This is what I was telling you about, how they can take, just like they got a SEAL team. They can send a SEAL team like they supposedly did with Bin Laden. They sent a SEAL team in. Nobody even know they was there. They went in. Next thing you know, they knocked Bin Laden off. Well, they got some super slick Edomites that go in to start chaos in a country. They'll send them in there, maybe 10, 20 of them. they go in dressing like the people and all that, but the whole time they stirring up chaos. And then all of a sudden, before you know it, that whole government is toppled. So why would you reveal this dude right here? Why would you tell everybody in Africa know now they saying that all the agencies, supposedly CIA, Black Ops, all this, that this guy from Nigeria, the president of Nigeria, is working for them, right? So if that's the case, this is what I'm expecting. Okay, they've been trying to knock off Tory. I think this dude gonna come up knocked off. But you keep your eyes on him.
And not only that, but think about not Saddam Hussein, what's his name that supposed to knock down the towers, Bin Laden. His
Right.
family flew out the same
Exactly.
time. How they get out? Come on, man. Not war criminals, not nothing.
Right. And
Yes,
to
sir.
this day, they ain't revealed to say that Bin Laden was working with them. But
And they didn't reveal that he died neither, because it was on the back of an aircraft carrier.
Right. This is how they work. So now all of a sudden, you saying that this guy working for them. So you just throwing him under the bus. You know what I'm saying? So keep your eye on that. I just want. When I saw
It's something fishy about that for sure.
Yeah, dead cat on the line. It's gonna come out. Yeah. So let me answer this question right here because it's very important. Okay. So the brother says the question about the 400-year slavery. When will it be over? And I would like an answer of that as well. So the true. You go to Genesis. We got videos on this. You can go to videos in the archives and check it out. It's Genesis 15, right? I'm gonna make this short. So Genesis 15 is the prophecy of the 400 years. So they say. It says that starting in Genesis 15, verse 11, it's Abraham. The Lord of hosts gave this prophecy to Abraham. And when the fowls came down upon the carcasses, Abraham drove them away. And when the sun was going down, a deep sleep fell upon Abram, and lo, a horror of great darkness fell upon him. And he said unto Abram, the Lord of hosts, not Yahushua, right? And he said unto Abraham, know for surety that thy seed, that's us, shall be a stranger in a land that is not theirs, the Israelites, and shall serve them, and they shall afflict them 400 years, right? So they're saying that this over here, right? But you keep reading. And and also that nation whom they shall serve will I judge, and afterwards shall they come out with great substance. So here go you how to rightly divide this. Verse 15, and thou shalt go to thy father. He's talking to Abraham. Thou shalt go to thy father. You're gonna die. You should go to your fathers in peace, and thou shalt be buried at a good old age. Then 16, and in the fourth generation. So Abraham, when he's getting his prophecy from the Lord, he in the land of Canaan. So he says, and thou shalt go to thy fathers in peace, and thou shalt be buried in a good old age. But in the fourth generation, they, your seed, shall come hither again to the land of Canaan, not America. He getting the prophecy in the land of Canaan. He said, you're going to die, and your seed going to go to Egypt, and then they're going to come back here. See that? It says, and in the fourth generation, they shall come here again. For, then here go the dagger. For the iniquity of the Amorites is not yet full. Who the Amorites? That's one of the 7 nations that's over there in the land of Canaan. Og, or Bashan, and Sion. Them the Amorites. So he's saying that you're going to go to the land, you're going to go into captivity 400 years in Egypt, then you're going to come back here, and then I'm going to do away with the Amorites. That's what Moses and Joshua did. That nullified that. Okay? So anyway, so now you want to know the proper time, the sequence that's dealing with us today. Go to Hosea. right? Hosea is talking to us. Not right there. The Lord of hosts is talking to Abraham and our forefathers, not us. So right here in Hosea chapter 6, Hosea telling us, come, let us return unto the Lord, for he hath torn, and he shall heal us. He hath smitten. This Isaiah 53 is all up in this. He will heal us. He hath smitten, and he will bind us up. After 2 days will he revive us. In the third day, he will raise us up, and we shall live in his sight. So what's a day with the Lord? 1,000 years, right? So 2,000 years. So all you hear, even though they hook with the scriptures, all you hear in these documentaries and all that is 2,000 years ago. JC lived 2,000 years ago. This happened 2,000 years ago. Well, here it is right here. After 2 days, will he revive us? In the third day, will he raise us up, and we shall live in his sight. That's where we at. 2,000 years up, we're in the third day. And now we see our deliverance starting to transpire itself. Like Markel and AJ said, we see the process. It's starting to happen. Just like what Daniel did with the prophecy of Jeremiah. He told them you're gonna be in Babylon for 70 years. When it started getting around 68, 69 years, Daniel looking at the prophet Jeremiah, and he see it starting to happen. And then the 70 years passed. That's when he started fasting and praying, because now the Medes and Persians was on the scene. The prophecy was to serve Nebuchadnezzar, his son, and his grandson. All three of them was dead. So now Daniel alone, because he see the prophecy of Jeremiah, them fulfilled itself. That's where we at.
And it's the time to endure. It's the
Right.
time to endure. Here we go.
Right.
We coming. We here. Now it's going to get harder. It's going to get worse before it get better. You know, it's not going to be bad as like it used to be, but this is where you're going to be tested. Y'all only TV 100. I'm just saying that. This is when you're going to be tested, and this is where you're going to have to, the rubber going to meet the road. And you got to let JC go, your Howard Shy, your who, whatever you want to call it. It's got to go, and Redeemer got to kick in.
Okay. Yeah. So, okay, yeah. So we're gonna go to our topic. This time right into what some of the stuff we were talking about. I was going back and I was dealing with King of Bashan. So what I'm gonna do first is I'm gonna play this video, because there's a lot of stuff that's said in there that you can bounce off of it and get the truth out of it. So I'm gonna play that first, and then I got some definitions of certain words and phrases that I need to break down. Okay, so we'll do that first. It's tied to the story that we were just talking about. Okay, here we go.
In the Scriptures channel. Although Moses witnessed extraordinary events, such as the plagues in Egypt, the parting of the Red Sea, and other remarkable miracles, he still displayed some apprehension toward a giant from the land of Canaan, Og, the king of Bashan. However, there is a little known detail.
So notice what I just said. In the prophecy in Genesis 15, it says that the Amorites and Og and all them, they in Canaan. They ain't in America. So the Amorites is part of the prophecy in Genesis chapter 15. Okay.
About this enigmatic king. He is said to be the guardian of an ancient book, kept secret from most people, whose existence is known to only a few. This is the theme I will explore in this video. So, if you find this content interesting, please leave a like and share it to reach more people. This video is part of a series dedicated to discussing the giants of antiquity mentioned in sacred scriptures, the forbidden book of Og, the king of the Rephaim giants. Between the 1940s and 1950s, the Judean region became the site of an unprecedented archaeological discovery. Hundreds of ancient scrolls in varying states of preservation came to light. In total, approximately 900 manuscripts were unearthed, collectively known as the Dead Sea Scrolls. These documents, found in the caves of Qumran, are attributed to the ancient Jewish community of the Essenes, who inhabited the area. One of the greatest highlights of this collection is the oldest known version of the Old Testament, considered an invaluable milestone in the history of the sacred scriptures. The Dead Sea Scrolls are especially significant because they present the oldest recorded version of the Bible in relation to the Old Testament, providing a direct connection to the period when these texts were compiled. In addition to the books that now form part of the biblical canon, the discovery included many other writings. Among them, the Book of Enoch stands out, a work mentioned and cited in passages of the New Testament, and the Book of Jubilees, a text that expands and elaborates on Genesis narratives, containing specific precepts and teachings not found in the current biblical text. These manuscripts not only offer a glimpse into the composition of religious texts, but also reveal the diversity of Jewish thought and practices of the time, becoming a fascinating window into understanding the historical, theological, and cultural context of one of the most emblematic periods in human history. Among the notable discoveries in the Dead Sea Scrolls are intriguing texts such as the ancient Book of Giants and the Book of Og, the King of the Giants. These documents reveal fascinating narratives that expand the understanding of ancient traditions and mythologies related to giant figures and their lineages. According to the Aramaic Hebrew Bible, King Og of Bashan was an imposing ruler associated with the tribe or race of the Rephaim, a lineage of giants mentioned in the scriptures. Og ruled over the Amorites in the land of Bashan and was defeated by Moses.
The Amorites is in the prophecy of 400 years. Here go the Amorites right here. So ain't no Amorites over here in America.
And the Israelite army in the famous Battle of Edrei. In Arabic literature, Og is often identified as Uj ibn Anak, meaning Og, son of Anak. While the Quran references him within the context of the stories of the prophets, it provides few specific details. In Jewish and Christian...
I want to shine a light on.
Hey, Mr. Leonard, I want to ask you a question too, brother. When did the 400 years start? Wasn't it 2019 or something? When did? Okay, it started then. When did it supposed to end it?
2019.
Oh, come on, man.
Oh yeah. And then
I ain't got a slave yet. Where my slave at, Mr. Leonard?
And then the thing about, like I said, now that we know, long suffering and being patient and waiting, we see that the long haired dude from I was just talking about in Ghana, he the one spearheaded it. He the one spearheaded
yes, sir.
400 years, all that back in the day when he came up and said year of return and all that. It was him. They used him to do it.
That's the question I had because for a while since we've been on this channel, since I've been on here, and I got in on it, it was a 400-year prophecy for a minute. I mean, we couldn't get rid of that, right?
Well, yeah.
And it's still going. I don't get it.
Right.
And then never mind. I can go on for days, but all praise the Most High.
Yeah, I want to put that.
And I would like to say all praise to that guy was on here 100. Thanks for your commentary. All praise, brother. No words, but get you some work.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I was going to say that I'm gonna answer this one question about what you said about the 200 years, but we got a class on where we dialogue on Sunday evenings at 5. So then you can call 337-802-08. You can get the link. The way you can get all your questions answered. right? But anyway, I'm gonna answer that. But let me finish this first. I'm gonna answer this. I want to make sure I'm getting the correct understanding on. Are you saying that Negroes have been in slavery in America for 2,000 years? No, I'm not saying that. But I'll break that down in a minute. But let me get to finish dealing with this. Okay, so it says, I forgot where I was at. So anyway, the giants. If you go back to the covenant that Abraham made with the Lord, the covenant when he made it with him, when he got circumcised, he gave him the land of Canaan, and then he gave him also the 7 nations of the Canaanites. And one of the nations of the Canaanites is the Amorites, and another one is the Rephaim. So Og is the king of the Amorites, and not only that, he's king of the Rephaim. And we got a video on the Rephaim that they was ghost-like, right? It's the characteristics they got. I guess they got from their fathers, the fallen angels, but it was ghost-like. They was like ghost-like. They was able to or they can go back and forth to the underworld. The Most High created, the Lord of Hosts created. The Most High created the underworld for those fallen angels and for those spirits of those fallen angels to go to. At a place for them to go when they once they lost their bodies. And then that was a place where he bound the fallen angels at, was in Gehenna. That was for them. But based on people falling for the tricks that they done, also he enlarged it for everybody that fell for the tricks of what they were doing. But the actual place was created for these fallen angels and for these giants and the spirits of these giants. That's what it was for. And these Rephaim had the ability to go back and forth from Guyana back and forth up here.
That remind me of that movie, The Ring, Lord of the Rings. Remember how they was in the bottom of the ground?
Right. And what I like, the movie I like, the scene that I like that best describe it is, and then when you understand that Canaan, the land, Mezarine, those are giants. So
yes, sir.
Noah got 4 sons, but the Mezarine are giants. They the ones that would oppress the Israelites. Is the son of the Mezarine, which is plural. Those are giants in Egypt. So from Egypt all the way across the land of Canaan is these giants. And so that's why they're dealing with the underworld. You got to understand that. But anyway, let me get this right here. So it says, I want to clear up something. It says that Og was the son of Anak, right? Say he's the son of Anak. Let me go right quick to Numbers. Numbers chapter 12. Right? Show you something. So somebody else might not even caught this, but you know what I'm saying? But anyway, you go to Numbers. Okay. This one spies came. I'm in Numbers chapter 12, and Moses sent out 12 spies, right? And it says 21, and they went up and searched the land, the land of Canaan. Just like Genesis chapter 15 said, they're going to come back here, right, to the land of Canaan. So they went up and searched the land from the wilderness of Zin unto Rechab, as men come to Hamath. And they ascended by the south and came unto Hebron, where, here you go, okay, I say these names right, Ahimim, Shisha, Tali, the children of Anak, right? Well, we just saw in the video, they said Og is the son of Anak. Anak is a giant, Anak. So you got different size giants. The original giants, when the angels first came down, they was humongous. But as when the Most High had Michael and Gabriel and Raphael them to bind those original fallen angels, then these giants started intermingling with other giants. They got smaller. But right here, Anak is one of those, huge ones, and he got sons. You got smaller giants, like they call them lower shelf giants, but these were the huge ones. And it says that the spies saw These three boys right here, they was sons of Anak. But we just saw in the video, it says that Og is the son of Anak. So you say, what you talking about? Well, if you know anything about Og and how these Edomites and these Europeans work, they tell the story. I don't know if anybody ever heard this, that Og helped Noah build an ark. Anybody heard that?
I didn't hear that. I heard it, but not growing up. But yeah, they said he helped build the ark. I remember that. Yep.
Right. So you go to the movie Noah. You know, the movie, the last movie came out, Noah, it was in it. They had the fallen angels came down and helped them build ark.
Yes, sir. I've seen that.
Okay, so they said that's coming from the fact that they said that Og was that's how old Og was. He helped them build an ark. Well, how can he help build an ark when Anak is his son? He's the son of Anak. Anyway, yeah. So let that from there. But anyway, I'm just trying to show you how to rightly divide a lot of this garbage that they'll bring out. So let's keep going.
Christian traditions. Og is widely recognized as an Amorite king mentioned in both the Hebrew Bible and the Christian Old Testament. Og's reign is introduced in the book of Numbers, where he is described as a fearsome monarch who dominated the Rephaim giants and ruled over the Amorites. Before his defeat, Og had as a neighbor another Amorite ruler, King Sihon of Heshbon. Sihon, who had already...
So you got Og and Sihon, the Amorites. They fit right into the scripture in Genesis 15. What the Lord told Abraham, you're going to die at a good old age, and they're going to go into captivity, and then they're going to come back here to the land of Canaan because the time of the Amorites is not yet fulfilled. You go to Amorites right here. Who destroyed the Amorites? Moses and Joshua and them, the Israelites, our forefathers. Can't be over here. It's garbage. Okay.
Yeah, they said we was like ants to them. Right.
Amorites. Okay.
Already been defeated by Moses in the Battle of Heshbon, controlled an extensive territory that stretched from the valley of the Jabbok to the valley of the Arnon, and from the Jordan River to the desert to the east. His capital, Heshbon, was located to the north of the Dead Sea. Sihon had conquered lands to the north of the Arnon, including regions of Moab, and possibly ruled over Midian, as the leaders of Midian were known as princes of Sihon. When Israel requested peaceful passage through the Amorite territory, pledging not to plunder or cause harm, Sihon refused and mobilized his army. This confrontation culminated in his defeat at Jahaz, solidifying Israel's victory over the Amorites. These narratives reinforce the historical and symbolic role of Og and Sihon in the biblical context, representing not only powerful adversaries of Israel, but also figures that contributed to the rich tapestry of stories and traditions surrounding the Dead Sea Scrolls. Og was an Amorite king.
Hey, Mr. Leonard, they said adversaries of it. That was the Redeemer.
Okay.
Right? Because he said he go forth before. He said that the adversaries, meaning that the Hebrews beat them down.
Right.
But it was the Redeemer go before them and have them wipe it out. Yes, sir.
Exactly.
Biblical significance. His domain was composed of 70 fortified cities and numerous unprotected villages. The capital of his kingdom was Ashtaroth, a central city in Bashan, known for its association with the worship of the pagan goddess Ashtoreth, frequently mentioned in the scriptures. Bashan, also referred to as the fertile plain of no stones, is first mentioned in Genesis 14:5, when Kedorlaomer and his allies defeated the Rephaim in Astaroth Karnaim, where Og ruled. During Israel's entry into the Promised Land, Og resisted the Israelite advance, but was decisively defeated. Numbers 21:33-35, Deuteronomy 3:1-7. Bashan covered a vast region, from Gilead in the south to Hermon in the north, and from the Jordan River in the west to Salca in the east. After the conquest, this area was allotted to the half-tribe of Manasseh, along with half of Gilead, Joshua 13:29-31. Within this region was Golan, which later became one of the cities of refuge mentioned in the scriptures, Joshua 21:27. Argob, a sub-region of Bashan, is also notable for being one of the administrative districts during King Solomon's reign, 1 Kings 4:13. Historically, Bashan was the site of several conquests and reconquests. It was taken by Hazael, king of Syria, 2 Kings 10:32-33, but later recaptured by Joash, who defeated the Syrians in 3 battles, as prophesied by the prophet Elisha, 2 Kings 13:25. Though its political significance diminished over time, Bashan remained notable for its fertile landscapes, oak forests, and wild herds, which are frequently mentioned in biblical texts such as Ezekiel 39:18, Psalms 22:12.
So I'm gonna say this right here, then I'm gonna go to some more information. So we just said that this place got the king of Bashan. So that's an area. So he says area was noted, the land of Bashan was noted for its oak trees, oak forests, right? So let's go to Genesis 18 right quick. And it says right here, Genesis 18, this well, Abraham met the Lord host it. It says, the Lord appeared unto him in the plains of Mamre. See that? So that's a giant. And the plains of Mamre is oak forest is there. It's the same region right here where Abraham was at. And it says, in the plains of Mamre, and he sat in the tent door in the heat of the day, lifted up his eyes, and he looked, and lo, 3 men stood by him. And when he saw them, he ran to meet them by the tent door, bowed himself to the ground, and he said, My Lord, if now I have found favor in thy sight, pass not away, I pray thee from thy servant. Let a little water, I pray thee, be fetched, and wash your feet, and rest yourselves under the tree, oak tree. That's where he is. That's where Abraham is, right? It says, and Abraham hastened and went into the tent. So I'm just showing you. So it's oak. It's where Mamre, one of these giants, dwelled there. That was his land. That was his region. This before Numbers, or before when Joshua and Moses and them came. So Abraham met Mamre, right? So let me show you who that is. So these are all giants. So this connection with the giants didn't just start when David killed Goliath. They already had Abraham had a connection. 200 men that helped Abraham rescue Lot, the giants. So let's get that right quick. I'm gonna show you this. So it says Abraham went to deliver Lot. It says Abraham delivered Lot. It's in Genesis 19, verse 15. And when the morning arose, then the angel hastened Lot, saying, Arise. Okay, now let me get in the wrong place. Okay. Yeah. I think it's in chapter 16. Okay. Yeah, Abraham rescued Lot. This is chapter 14. It says, and there came one that had escaped and told Abraham the Hebrew, for he dwelt in the plains of Mamre, the Amorite. See that? Mamre is the Amorite. Like I said, ain't no Amorites over here in America. So he says the Amorites, brother of Eshcol and brother of Anar, and they were confederate with Abraham. See that? So these are all giants. Just like when they went, the spies went. they saw those three sons of Anak. That's a different breed of giants than the ones that are the regular Canaanites. They was a mere stature, but they wasn't as huge and as big as these ones right here, like Anak, Mamre, and all them. They had whole, because of their size and their might and power, they had huge regions that they can control. And they named that whole region after them because that's where they dwelled in. You have to understand that. So anyway, let's go into try to break some of this stuff down. Okay. Any questions or so far comments?
That was the scripture when they was talking about they looked like ants towards them.
Yeah, right.
When they looked
Grasshopper.
over, yeah, oh, grasshoppers, yeah. Okay.
Okay. So it's right here, says, who is Og? Og, the king of Bashan, is named 22 times in the Bible across 6 different biblical books. Given how often he and his kingdoms are mentioned, he would we should know more about him, about who he is. The Bible also mentions other details of interest, such as Og slept on an iron bed that was over 13 feet long. Apparently, he was a giant of a man, even bigger than Goliath. And just who was Og and why does the Bible mention him so frequently? This article, okay, it says this article helps to answer the questions by explaining why the Bible says about Bashan, Israel, Og, and the giants of old. To know of Og we first need to know more about his kingdom of Bashan, his kingdom along with the Amorite kingdom. There you go, the Amorites. That takes you straight to Genesis 15. Acted as a gateway, check it out, acted as a gateway into the promised land. To enter, see that? To the promised land. That's what the Amorites said, in the land of Canaan, not over here. To enter into their rest, Israel had to defeat these 2 kingdoms and their kings, Sion and Og. That's prophecy in Isaiah in Genesis 15, right there. Both live east of the Dead Sea, although our kingdom seemed to have extended from the Jordan Valley until Mount Hermon. So you should know where Mount Hermon is in the north and down to Gilead in the south. Hence, it was a significant kingdom that overlapped with the territory of what would become the nation of Israel. See that? So the nation of Israel, when you go to Genesis 15, he said they're going to come back. And they're going to deal with the Amorites, and then they was going to have great substance, and they're going to be in their land. There it is right there. It says, hence, it was a significant kingdom. The Amorite kingdom ended up becoming overlapping with the territory that will become the nation of Israel. Ain't over here. It ain't America, right? So also spending 40 years wandering in the wilderness, Israel began to reapproach the promised land. That's Genesis 15. They're going to go and be afflicted, servitude and affliction for 100 years, and they're going to come out with great substance, and they're going to come back to the land of Canaan, like he said right here. To reapproach, Israel began to reapproach the promised land. On their way, they met and defeated Og and Sion. So it's all in the scriptures. So it says, the Bible tells us an interesting detail about Og and the giants of Canaan. Og slept on the iron bed. I read that he was a giant of a man. Apparently, this was not unusual. The promised land was full of powerful kingdoms, peoples, and even giants. When Israel sent 12 spies into the Canaan, they came back with a dread because they had spotted 3 giants in Hebron. I just read that. They were sons of Anak. It says, one of the scouts named Caleb, however, believed that Israel could still enter into the land, and he later proved it when he drove out the sons of Anak, okay, from Hebron. Yet before Caleb's victory, 10 of his spies companions saw only doom. Okay, the land through which we have gone to spy out is the land of devours its inhabitants, and all the people that say that we saw in it are of great height. All the people You see that? All the people that we saw in it are of great height. And there we saw the Nephilim, the sons of Anak, who came from the Nephilim. And we seemed to ourselves like grasshoppers. And we seem to them as we seem to them. So we see right here, it's impossible. It's over here. The story of Genesis 6 and 4, the Nephilim apparently held deep sway on the hearts of the Israelites. These three descendants of the Nephilim were at greater height, and the scouts felt like the grasshoppers. Okay, let me go over. Keep going. Say Og was an Amorite. See that? By birth, and the king of Bashan. He lived in Ashtaroth, Edra, and he had a kingdom that reigned over 60 cities in the region of Orgod. Each city had walls and a gate, so his kingdom was powerful. Beyond the 60 cities, a number of villages without walls fell under his control. Okay, so Og and Zion were Amorites by birth. They also have unique place within the Amorite covenant. When God made his covenant with Abraham, he told Abraham his descendants, this is what I was talking about right here, his descendants would live in Egypt. See that? Here you go right here. So since both Og and Bashan were Amorites by birth, they also have a unique place within Amorite covenant. That's Genesis 15. When God made his covenant with Abraham, he told Abraham his descendants would live in Egypt for 400 years. Genesis 15 and 13. Afterwards, God would explain that Israel will return to Canaan because the iniquity of the Amorites is not yet complete. Og and Zion left a deep imprint on Israel's history. Moses reminds Israel that God defeated Og and Zion, and so God can do anything, right? Og and Zion are mentioned in centuries into King, right? Centuries into King, right? Centuries in 1 Kings 4:19, as famous kings of the land of Gilead. Nehemiah brings Og and Zion up as well as examples of God's giving over the people of Israel. So we see right here, flat out tell you that the 400 years wasn't over here. But I'm gonna go and delve a little bit into.
Not only that, but it lets you know that our Redeemer, there's nothing new under the sun.
Right.
You know, he's doing the same thing over and over again to these people.
Right.
You know?
Right. So it says this is a Rephaim connection. The Rephaim appeared to be giants of men connected to some way to the Nephilim, the Greek Old Testament. Is there some Greek Old Testament, the Septuagint, as well as many ancient interpreters agree that these individuals are giants. Apparently, even at Abraham's time, Rephaim lived in Canaan. They had been around for a while. According to 1 Chronicles 24 and 8, the number of Rephaim lived in Philistine, such as Scipia, and an unnamed man with 6 fingers, 6 toes. Interestingly, we learned that Goliath and his brother Lehema were also descendants of the Rephaim. Collectively, these figures were descendants from the giants in Gath. The word translated giants here is Rephaim. So yeah, so I'm gonna go one more place. I'm gonna shine light on something, then take it right here. Okay. Yeah, this way I was talking about the oaks. Where it says, Mamre, an ancient Amorite, who with his brothers Eshcol and Aner was in an alliance with Abraham. Genesis, and under the shade of whose oak grove the patriot dwelt in the interval between the resistance at Bethel and Bathsheba. So that's the oak, that grove, that forest or oaks belonged to Mamre, is what it's telling me. So anyway, keep going. It says,
But again, Mr. Leonard, we know people that got 6 fingers and all of these disfigured things that's going on with people,
Right.
you know. So
Exactly.
they here.
Right. Here goes the part I want to talk about. It says, King of Bashan, the underworld. See, so like I said, from Egypt all the way to Mesopotamia, the giants there. This where the worship of the underworld and all that with the gods in Egypt and all that is tied to this. The Most High, when he created when he created Guyana, and he put for a place for them to go because they was unwanted, you know, on the planet, on the earth. And then he created that for to put those fallen angels there. Right. So anyway, it says, King of Bashan, underworld ruler, right? Or ancient giant. So let's look at it. Let's see. And we'll close out. The victory against King Og of Bashan by the Israelites is mentioned several times in biblical literature, along with the defeat of King Sihon of the Amorites. Invoking these victories reminds the Israelites readers to past glories and military success. When Moses narrates Og account in Deuteronomy 30, he says a similar notice appears in Joshua it's okay. He says when Moses narrates the Og account in Deuteronomy 3, he adds, only King Og of Bashan was left of the remaining Rephaim. And similar notice appears in Joshua in the description of the Transjordan borders. Also, the territory of King Og of Bashan, one of the last of the Rephaim, who resided in Ashtaroth and Edrei. Right. So it says, who are these Rephaim, and what does it mean that Og is one of them? Right. All hail Og, King of David. See that? Go back to the God that's, I was telling you that the one movie, I think it's Kings of Egypt. It's a movie that came out. That was the best depiction I seen where I can't think of the name of the guy with the hawk head, the god of the underworld in Egypt. He would be on top of the ground. Then he starts spinning and turning into like a whirlwind, and then he go down into the underworld. So anyway, it says many modern day commentaries understand the term "red" from here as means spirits. That's what I was saying. Of they are shades. So they was humans, but they was ghost-like creatures. It says who inhabited the underworld. Indeed, Rephaim does have this meaning in a number of biblical verses. For example, Isaiah 60 contrasts Yahweh to other deities that says that Yahweh, our God, our Lord, besides you, have ruled over us, but because they acknowledge your name alone, the dead do not live. Shades, Rephaim, do not rise, because you have punished and destroyed them and wiped out all memory of them. Okay, so that's another deeper meaning on why the Most High was told Abraham he's gonna get rid of them. You see, their time ain't up yet. After they go to Egypt and come back, that's when I'm gonna get rid of them. So, okay.
And that's who down here tormenting everybody.
Right.
They taking on flesh of
Right.
their foreparents.
Right. And these are characteristics because, those giants had different characteristics when they mingle with the women. Though some of those, because of the DNA, you don't know what kind of supernatural characteristic that giant would have. They got from their fathers. And evidently, this was one of them that they read from got. Okay. Yeah. So it's kind of like vampire type, really. But anybody got any comments on anything before we leave? Oh yeah, let me deal with that. I was talking about So it says I just want to make sure I'm getting it right correct. So yeah, it says let me write it, put it over here. So it says I want to make sure I'm getting this correct understanding. Are you saying that the Negroes have been in slavery in America? No. So when you go back to and understand the they call it tribulation. See, they didn't misconstrue and twist everything up. When Israel was kicked out of the land, and Daniel, let me read it. And Daniel, chapter 10, I think, Daniel 9. Let me read it right quick. Daniel 9:25, right? It says, so yeah, and like I said before, that we know that the Messiah that's in Daniel 9:25 is Zerubbabel. We got videos on that. You can go check it out. But it says Daniel 9:25 says, know therefore and understand that from the going forth for the commandment to restore and build Jerusalem unto the Messiah, that's Zerubbabel. He's in Babylon, right? The prince shall be 7 weeks, 62 weeks. The street shall be built again, and the wall, even in troublesome times. Like I said, I got a video on that. So that's when Nehemiah, all of them came out. Nehemiah dealing with the wall, all that. So anyway, the point I'm making is 26. And after 62 weeks shall the Messiah be cut off, but not for himself, right? So that's when Darius sent a letter and told Zerubbabel to stop building the temple because of those Samaritans in Israel that sent a letter to him and said that they was bad and they was causing problems. So Darius sent a letter and cut Zerubbabel off right here. So it says, shall the Messiah be cut off, but not for himself. Then here we go. And the people of the prince that shall come, that's Antiochus, Epiphanes. That's been taken out the scriptures. That's in 2 Maccabees. So what is that pertaining to? Go to chapter 8. Prophecy. I'm dealing with prophecy, right? So it says, Gabriel came to Daniel in chapter 8 of Daniel and told him, he says in verse 19, and he said, behold, I will make thee know what shall be the last end of indignation, for the time appointed the end shall be. So the nation of Israel is going to come to an end, not the end of the world, but Gabriel telling them when the nation of Israel is going to come to an end. He's going to cut off the nation. He's tired of dealing with them. That's what this priest that came did right here in Daniel 9:26. And says, and the people of the prince that shall come shall destroy the city and the sanctuary, and the end thereof shall be with a flood, and unto the end wars and desolations. It says, and he shall confirm the covenant with many for 1 week. But they got this over in New Testament. In Revelations, it ain't happened yet. But it's Antiochus Epiphanes did all this, right? And he shall come and cause the sacrifices and the oblations to cease, and from the overspreading of the abomination to make it desolate, even unto the consummation that determined shall be poured out upon the desert. So from this point right here, that's when our tribulation started. Once we was kicked out of the land, when Antiochus and the Greeks ran us out of the land of Israel, we ended up on the west coast of Africa, in Negro land. So from there, 2,000 years. That's what I just read in Hosea. The 400 years is in Genesis 15, it's dealing with Egypt. Okay? Anybody got any questions or comments before we go?
No, sir. I just want to say shalom, everybody. All praise the Most High.
Shalom. I'll see y'all tomorrow, man, for the Shabbat. Okay.